What's up? Welcome. This is Jay's Analysis. I'm your diva, Jay Dyer of Jay Diva's Analysis. We got a new microphone. Hopefully it sounds good. I bought the fanciest blue microphone I could buy at the Spurg store, aka Nerd Squad, aka what's that place called?
Best Buy.
Best Buy.
You bought the best.
Best soy. Right.
Yeah.
That place smells like a Magic the Gathering festival.
It's pretty depressing, actually.
I saw a grandma hipster in there buying like video games or something.
Malls in general are depressing now because they're dying, right?
They are.
It's pretty sad.
Is the sound good? This is a fancy mic. It's really tall. So,
oh, you can see it in the shot.
Yup.
Oh, it's like our third host is the microphone.
We've had a series of microphones, and I kind of retire them to the top shelf to mark different phases and periods of the growth of my internet celebritydom. And here we are. We've made it. This fancy big thing.
He's here.
And does it it's supposed to have, all of the sound nerds are like, get a condenser. I don't know what a condenser is, but it's supposed to have a condenser inside of there's a little condenser in there somewhere. Inside the little electronics and electricity, there's a condenser.
Someone says I sound like ASMR.
Jamie will be licking and smushing bananas between her teeth.
Ew.
She's gonna be doing floss ASMR later, and you get to hear it flick.
I like the slimes when the slimes.
I've never watched any of that crap, and I never will.
The sand.
Jamie is gonna be doing toenail clip ASMR to hear it, and then to hear it bounce off of the wall.
My favorite one was a cat purring while eating a steak, and he was just like going at it. And
I made a joke one that I thought was kind of funny, which was squishing butter and doing the dirty dishes, and nobody liked that. It's too dumb. So,
Aww.
But
well,
so this is supposed to protect when I go into spurg mode and I spurg out and I can't control the volume. This mystery machine is supposed to solve that. So hopefully it works. And yes.
well,
Congratulations, Bit Boys. All the fast Bit Boys. Not the slow boys, the fast Bit Boys.
I don't want to make you so relaxed that you fall asleep and meet Freddy, because it's a full moon and we're going to talk about Freddy Krueger.
But if I did meet Freddy, it would be a meet cute.
It would be, yeah. How would you meet Freddy? If
Like this.
And he had flowers for you.
There we go. You can't see me. Can't see me. This one of the wrestlers does that. You can't see me.
If I met Freddy, it would
And I'm
be
like, dude, you're just waving your hand in front of your face. I can see you.
it would be like at a mental institution. That's where he'd be waiting for me in my nightmares.
I hate to break it to you, but that's where I picked you up. Institute. And all of that is in one of the fractures in your altars that you don't remember.
This
It's a
isn't
fractured
real.
memory.
This is just a dog's dream. That's it.
Does anybody get the "we're inside a dog's dream" reference? We're getting obscure. We're like classic Mystery Science Theater, where we do really obscure references that no one will get, unless you're, I don't know, very, very 80s savvy. Well, that's not actually 80s, but Freaks and Geeks was a great show. But what's on the roster tonight? Remind me.
Freddy Fest, Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 2, and 3. What? Which
I didn't realize.
Turned out to be way cooler than I thought. Also, Friday the 13th, the classic Jason, and Squid Game. So,
Yeah, Squid
Game.
Game.
It's gonna be fun.
Squid Game was. Paul Joseph Watson had a really good breakdown. David had a really good breakdown. We'll be getting to our breakdown. We took notes throughout all the 9 or whatever episodes, but kind of what I figured it would be, like K-pop meets Hunger Games, right?
Yeah.
K-pop MC Escher, that was funny, but weird sequences.
Okotiti totowa. Can you do it? Okotiti totowa.
No, I can't do young budding K-pop star songs.
Okay.
So, I had seen Nightmare on Elm Street 1. I'd never seen the other two. 2 is garbage, by the way. It's very much, as Jamie pointed out, Skittles. It's a Skittles erotica.
It is.
It veiled Skittles erotica, which I'm like, this is garbage. And I mean, nothing explicit, but it's constantly referenced there. And then 3 was actually okay. That was like, it reminded me of Hellraiser 2, right, at the mental institute. Freddy wreaking havoc at the mental institute. So basically, slow boys. Freddy basically inhabits the dreams of the slow boy.
Yeah. Freddy at the mental institute.
So let's get into
Okay.
So the first one, I almost wonder too if there wasn't like trauma or implied trauma in the first one, because it turns out Freddy's is he a serial killer or not? I don't
Well,
get it.
in the reboot, he is a slow boy who likes to play with the kids, and I think
Is he a slow boy or just a dang janitor?
he's a janitor. It's
Just
who
a dang
the guy who
weird
played
janitor.
Rorschach in Watchmen plays Freddy,
Right.
and
I've not seen that.
I saw it a long time ago, and we didn't watch that again.
Is this
but-
the Wes Craven reboot
Yeah.
of it? A new Nightmare on Elm Street?
It's-
Something like that.
Yeah, I
New
think it's just
Nightmare?
Nightmare on Elm Street. Like
There's one called New Nightmare. Is that it?
I don't know.
There's one where they're making the movie and Freddy invades the
Oh,
making of
yeah,
the movie.
no,
it's
it's
meta,
not that one.
Meta Freddy.
It's set in like before
Meta
times.
Nightmare on Elm
Before there was a Freddy Krueger. It was like his origin story.
Okay.
So
he's a pseudo creeper
he is,
who's friends with kids,
yeah.
and the town blames it on him, or he did it. That's what I can't figure out.
That's the
We don't know.
mystery that I think is solved in the new. Maybe
Oh.
somebody in the chat will know, because
I'm
this
sure they
whole
will.
time you think. Well, we'll get to that. So he's making his claw. He's haunting a blonde. You have Johnny Depp in the movie. Remember?
Yes, John Depp is a young teen man
Yes.
in this movie, and he does not last.
No.
He gets Amber Hearded.
And they all have the same dream of Freddy. And they're like, oh, you had that nightmare? I had that nightmare. Remember?
He gets Amber Hearded.
Yes.
Jamie doesn't ever hear the dumb jokes that I make. They just
I
like
have to think of my own dumb jokes.
She
I can't.
processes them like a minute later.
Yeah, I do. I'm the person that will laugh at a joke 5 minutes after the punchline. Right? So they all
So-
had the same nightmare because their parents were involved in the death of Fred Krueger.
Mhm.
Right?
So was he just the scapegoat, at least in what we think in the first one, or did he really do it? Because I thought we were supposed to think the parents are the bad guys, and then Freddy is a vengeful spirit, basically. Wreaking
Yes.
havoc.
So, Freddy was killed by the neighborhood parents because he supposedly killed 20 children. Is the story.
Right, I get that.
And then, but why is he always so juicy? Because they burned him to death. So you have another juicy.
Yeah, he
like-
has a creamy nougat
No.
texture to his skin.
Yeah. So this one has all of the classic horror, like the good person, the chaste girl is going to live.
Is this Cotton? Is that her name?
Mm,
Leslie Cotton, or is that Hellraiser?
her name in this is
That was Hellraiser.
Nancy.
Is it Nancy Cotton, or is that Hellraiser?
Nancy is in Freddy.
Cotton. I'm just.
I
trying to
don't
figure out-
remember the Cotton last name. I don't know.
We make jokes about the names, and you don't even remember.
So, well, every horror movie is also a test of virtues. Is
Yes.
what I got of this.
So it's like catharsis, and you are. How do we say it? Some people argue that horror movies are catharsis. Some people argue that they're warnings about the vices and the virtues. That's actually what Hellraiser was, which I didn't expect. Was the Cenobites use the vices to lead you to hell with with false promises, and then you get there and they're like, haha, we lied, we're hell beasts. What did you expect? You thought we'd tell you the truth, right? And in this, it's the trope, it's what you see in every movie, right? The archetype is that if you smoking a little weed, if you sipping a little booze, if you touching a little boob,
yeah,
you're out, dude.
Yeah.
It's like you're done.
If you're sneaking off to be naughty, then you're gonna get killed.
Like right away.
And that's what happens. Well, in this movie, you never know if it's a dream. They have a lot of scenes where it could be
It's like the Matrix, dude.
Yeah.
You're like in Freddy's Matrix.
It's like Inception with Freddy Krueger.
It is like Inception. I noticed that, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, her dad is a policeman.
Okay.
And her mom is 80s Scully alcoholic, remember?
She looks like Dana Scully, but in the 80s.
Yeah.
So let's move quicker here. So
Okay.
what's going on? They basically blame it. They blame it on Freddy. There's something that her dad fails to do, which is what? Rescue the daughter?
The dad is
He becomes a
law
drunk.
enforcement. And
I know that, but does he become a drunk? Does in part 2?
That's part 3. Part 2 has nothing to do with. So there's Freddy 1, and then the one that has nothing to do with these people.
Okay. But in Freddy 3, he's a drunk because he failed to do something. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Which is to do what? Because he went to the house. I just don't remember what he failed to do. It's John Saxon,
He couldn't
by the way.
save Johnny Depp, and he couldn't. The wife left him or something like that. They say that, right?
Okay.
Okay, so the things that stick about Nightmare on Elm Street are the really gross, like, there's so many gross, like, the tongue comes out of the phone and licks her, or he swallows
It's silly.
But
It's not
is
even
silly,
gross. It's
but
like...
ew, it's so gross.
It's 80s. I mean, it looks like... The tongue looks like bubble gum. It doesn't even look like a tongue. Like, everything looks super cheeseball.
Yeah. Well,
I remember when in the 80s I thought this stuff was really scary, creepy, and I wasn't allowed to watch it. And then you watch this stuff now and it's like, this is ridiculous. Like, this it's actually funny. Like,
Yeah.
you see this stuff, like the John Carpenter monsters.
I like when the mom, she just like is always drinking and trying to cover up what they did, and the daughter's like, why am I having nightmares of this guy named Fred Krueger with knife hands? And she's like, I don't know. Takes another drink.
Well, it's implying that the parents are actually the bad guys here.
Yes, the parents are always
They're all
doing the wrong
corrupt.
thing.
They're all in on something, and so it's kind of an anti-establishment movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Because the teens always know what's up, and nobody ever listens to the teens.
Yes. And so the mom takes her down to the basement and is like, this might have something to do with it, and shows her the knife hands have been down there in the basement the whole time. Just so ridiculous.
So is she admitting that she participated in killing Freddy?
Yeah. Then she tells the story of all the neighborhood parents getting together and burning this guy, this child killer.
Right. Okay.
So I like the well, Johnny Depp has an epic death. He
I forget
is
how he died,
sucked
remind
into
me.
the bed,
Oh, he's the bad guy.
and all the blood spurts up into the ceiling. That's a pretty crazy scene. And then at
John Drip.
the end
Johnny Drip.
of part
Johnny Drip.
Jack's, I don't know.
Jack Sparrow?
Yeah.
That's a different character.
I know.
That's not this movie.
Who do you think would win in a fight, Jack Sparrow or Freddy Krueger?
Well, you can't kill Freddy, so Freddy would win.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
I
Jack Sparrow's immortal. Freddy's not.
I liked that she had to do like a Home Alone booby trap home invasion for Freddy.
She does do yeah, which is dumb because again you can't kill Freddy, so you can organize all these Home Alone booby traps, but like it doesn't do anything. And what isn't the whole point that to me it seems like the kids are traumatized.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So
Because she's having nightmares and she's seeing Freddy, and in part 2, the Skittles teen is traumatized. Maybe he's been molested too. Is it implying that his coach molested him?
Who, Johnny Depp?
In part 2.
Oh, yes. It
Okay,
is.
so then my thesis was that this girl in this one seems abused as well.
Oh,
is she
okay.
traumatized? That's my theory.
Yeah. So,
In other words, it's about more than just evil parents and a monster. It's like abuse.
yeah.
And in each situation, the kids, the youth, in part 3, it's the kids at the mental institute are outcast and abused. And Freddy takes advantage of that.
Yes. They're the ones that the kids left over from the whole debacle, I think is what.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mom gets burned and sucked into the blue abyss, and at the end she had to turn her back on Freddy and not be scared like it and hurt his feelings, and then he has
Yes,
no
that
power
was dumb.
over.
I was like, so Freddy's just it?
Yeah.
Which you just have to like hurt his feelings. Like, cut him
I
down.
don't believe in you.
Throw a few mama jokes at him and you're done.
Even though you just killed everyone I know, I don't believe in this.
Be like, Freddy, you can never get laid. And your mom is I saw that movie about your mom in the shower.
Free Willy. Oh, what?
Gorillas in the Mist.
Ha-ha.
Ooh, cut down, and then he's done. You're done.
Ha-ha.
That's all it took to beat it and Freddy, and then you're done.
Yep.
Not yet. What's his name? Pennywise.
Pennywise, yeah.
You like popcorn? Pop, pop, pop.
So in this one, the happy ending is a nightmare.
You like popcorn? Pop, pop. Yes. In this one, what?
The end is a nightmare. It's all
You're never out of the Matrix.
No.
You can never leave
can't
Freddy's dream
escape.
world.
You belong to Freddy.
Now, Isaac, by the way, a long time ago, Isaac did a really good breakdown of Nightmare on Elm Street, which is at his website. It used to be. I think it's still there. And he argues that there's like a fractured MK Ultra type thing going on here because it seems like the girl's been abused. And then she goes to the mental institute. And then later in part 3, she comes back as a counselor for abuse. So she's a trauma abuse counselor. And she tries to explain what's going on. Nobody believes her. So now we come to Freddy 2, the Skittles Boogaloo.
Well, this one takes a detour.
Right, so it's different people.
Yeah. And it opens with this like emo loser kid on the bus. And the bus driver's Freddy.
Isn't that redundant? Emo loser kid? Or isn't every emo a loser?
Well, he has been...
We gotta show no mercy to the nerds, y'all. The nerds are gonna kill us all, so it's weird.
He's been having night terrors.
Right.
And his girlfriend is in the friend zone.
Yeah, but...
Above his choosing. So he has a girl that likes him.
You're right.
But he doesn't like her because he's...
He's Skittles.
Yes.
And why do they put the... I mean... Is this... I get Wes Craven, Clive Barker, all the horror masters. I get them all mixed up. I forget who's who, but I think Clive Barker is like the gay Satanist, like openly so.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Oh, I remember looking up. I think I did look up one of the Wes Craven too. I think he had a recommended reading site at his blog, or maybe I'm thinking of Clive Barker. Anyway, they were recommending occult, shamanic. Esoteric magic stuff. So, yep. So that's what goes into these, is what I'm trying to say. Who did Hellraiser?
Clive Barker.
Okay.
So he lives in the girl's house from part 1.
Oh, so the house is haunted.
Yes. Because of the claws in the basement.
It's where Freddy did his gooey deeds.
Yeah. Poop class? Do you remember that?
Yes. So in high school, they're learning about poop. I don't know why in high school you'd be learning about poop. I mean, pretty much I think by that age we know like how things work down there. So we thought that was just a bizarre... the entire class sequence is all about poop class. I mean, I don't remember ever having poop class in high school, but maybe my education was deficient from the South.
Did you do cringy dances in the bedroom with your underwear on?
Only when I'm watching Risky Business.
Oh, yes. So he does a Risky Business dance. And he accidentally finds Nancy's diary where she wrote about Freddy, the guy who he's been having
So
nightmares.
there's like a Laura Palmer element to this that pops up.
And then he finds the claw in the basement. Freddy wants this kid's help to come back, and he's like, kill for me. So this is a different one. Like, Freddy is possessing this kid, and you don't know if it's the kid doing the murders or...
This one is, that's right. That's the interesting part of this is the teenager is the serial killer, but he's possessed.
Yeah.
And he dissociates and doesn't remember what's going on when he kills people.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the killing has like a BDSM stuff, which we've seen with a lot of the serial killers. Remember this, guys, when we've gone through the various serial killer stuff. Let me refresh you, because a lot of people forget this. So almost all of the major serial killers, at least I've listed 22, and I'm sure there's more than this. There is a satanic, occult, aka / demonic element to them, which the media rarely talks about, kind of covered up. Son of Sam, obviously we have the occult OTO connections to Son of Sam. We have the rituals at the gardens where what's the New York Gardens?
Central Park?
No, the gardens related to Son of Sam. Untermeyer Gardens.
Oh.
The dog speaking to him, the references to Wicker Man. Zodiac, we have also Crowleyan references. We have the Gnostic cross, the astrology references. Dahmer, we have the demon altar. Dahmer's favorite movie was Exorcist 3, and he wanted to kind of reenact Aztec cannibal rituals. Ted Bundy, we have the blood drained from the victims and claims of a cave where he would do rituals. At least that's claimed by some of the people that know him. And there was a file at the time that was lost, chronicling the occult elements of Bundy. Everybody knows Charles Manson, Process Church, and Scientology. Henry Lee Lucas, the Hand of Death cult, and the connection to the Matamoros cult. Richard Ramirez, open Satanist, went and hung out, met the LaVeys. BTK, his art is full of astrological and occult symbols, and he claims the demons that are in him are Batter and Factor X. David Parker Ray, the famous toy box killer, one of the worst of all. They had a small satanic sect that they had set up. Herb Baumeister, pentagram was found nearby at an inverted cross on a barn near Herb's murders. The Ripper crew, 4 guys, they were all in a satanic cult, and they did cannibalism. Dutroux affair, everybody knows about the Dutroux affair, and there's a connect. If you read the Irish Times article about Dutroux, you get the satanic connection. Pierre, or what's it? No, Patriani, the Monster of Florence. That one is a satanic cult connected thing. Armin Maiweiss is the German cannibal killer, and I uncovered an occult connection to that. His mom or guardian said that he was a Satanist from a young age, and that she had introduced him to Satanism. Israel Keys was a Satanist. Pazuzu said he was possessed. Foreign person Adrian Lim said that he was possessed, I think, by Shiva. Another one, I can't read that. Steve Sellers. I don't know I forget who that is.
Sean Sellers.
It's not Sean. Maybe it is. Sean Sellers? Is that a serial killer? Do you remember? Okay. Are you sure that's Sean? No, it doesn't look like a man. Vampire Sacramento, Bobby Burdella. All of those. Then also Peter Sutcliffe, the Ripper. What's the temple? Order of the Solar Temple. That one was based on Crowley stuff. The North Fox Island GM connected killer. All of those. So again, that's a whole 25 or so major serial killer people with occult and satanic connections. And again, I'm just saying that because we forget this, but this movie is about this kid who's becoming a serial killer, and he's getting possessed by Freddy, and he dissociates. He doesn't remember doing it.
And also, why is everyone in this movie sunburned? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And the gym teacher is dressed like a village person.
That's what I'm saying. I think the gym teacher is the abuser.
Yes.
And then the abuse is the way for the kid to be angry and for Freddy to come in.
Well, he gets towels. Oh, man. Towel snapped to death. You know how they snap their bottoms in the shower?
You know you can actually kill people with that?
Well, they do it in this movie.
Well, Freddy does it.
Well, not only that.
Freddy towel pops that dude's butt until he passes out. It's so stupid.
The gym teacher picks him up from a bar and takes him back to the showers of the school and starts to prepare to do something. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is I think this kid is abused, and then he's angry, and the anger is the angle by which Freddy possesses him.
What is Lee Mall poster? Who's that?
Lee Mall is the people that
band.
sing the Never Ending Story song.
Oh, okay. So the kid
he has the Never Ending Story poster.
Yeah.
Look around, and then you may see. It's super Skittles, so I'll spare you that one.
Yeah. So this kid, he's rejecting girls. He's wanting to spend time with his daddy gym teacher and his buff bodybuilding friend. He's disassociating.
He's killing people.
He's having
because he's possessed with Freddy.
He's having.
Okay, this one sucks, by the way. Let's just get to the point. This one is lame.
Well, that is the point that there's like bad stuff going on between the adults and the kids. Right.
That element is relevant, but I just thought this one sucked.
Yeah. So then you have Nightmare on Elm Street.
Now this one was fun. Part 3 was actually fun.
And it has Patricia Arquette as the new girl.
Right.
And isn't she?
She's She's a neglected teen. She's got a dang wine mama who is sampling the men's of the town.
And well, all of these teens were their parents were implicit in the Freddy murder.
Right. So this is another parent involved. So basically, all of the parents, all the boomers.
Yeah.
Why did the boomers? Why did you?
They unleashed
Freddy? What did Freddy
demon.
actually do? Do we know? That Freddy. Oh, it's a symbol for the boomer generation and the spirit of vengeance that will be wrought as a result of the excesses of boomerism and consumerism. I'm just making a joke.
Yeah.
It's not really that. It's just a joke for boomers to always get mad when I make boomer jokes. There will inevitably be that comment underneath this show. I liked you until I heard this boomer joke. Unsubbed. Right? Why do you use that horrible electric piano music at the beginning of your shows that goes on for way too long? It's about 10 minutes. It's a live stream. Does anybody understand what a live stream is? It's been going on for 5-10 years on the internet. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, this one takes place in a mental hospital where Morpheus works.
Yes. Young, strapping teen Morpheus.
Mm-hmm.
And he's literally doling out the blue pill or the red pill.
Well,
because he's giving the pills out.
The doctor looks like
dude,
Walmart Bill Maher. He's giving the pills. He's
giving out the pills, and Morpheus gives out the pills, dude. I just caught that. I wonder did anybody even catch that? That if you go back to Nightmare on Elm Street 3,
Dream Warriors, and then I was just saying that Freddy is like the Matrix. Yeah. And you got frickin' Lawrence Fishburne giving out pills. They're probably blue even. I don't even know. I don't even remember. They're probably blue and red. Well, you've also got the Walmart Bill Maher, who's the doctor. Walmart. Yeah. Walmart. Yeah. Bill Maher. Yeah, it is. Like the protagonist dude in this is like a Walmart Bill Maher. Well, one of his theories is that these kids are having mental problems because of the LSD that their parents took in the 60s.
Oh, so there is an MKUltra element. I told
Yeah.
you. So this one, that's there consciously because we're supposed to be thinking that it's a treatise on boomerism and the counterculture.
Yeah.
And the counterculture produces the egregore, vengeance spirit, tulpa of Freddy.
He is a tulpa. Good one. So this one, Nancy's back as the counselor, like you said. And she is now working with pattern nightmares and traumas. And Patricia Arquette has made a model of Freddy's, or her old house where Freddy used to haunt. So she's bringing things into the 3D world from the Nightmare
this is
land.
like that element is very similar to what's in Hellraiser 2. Remember? Because that's also in the mental institute. You go into the next dimension.
Yeah.
And there's portals in the mental institute.
Oh yeah, 2 of them have 2 girls in the mental institution.
I know.
Oh yeah. Wow. Okay.
Dude, what if
a young girl and an old girl in a mental institution?
What if we are inside the dream? And so we are stuck in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. That's why the world is so crazy.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to see the codes to figure out that when the Matrix came out, that was Lawrence Fishburne telling us that we are in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Mm-hmm. I just figured out the whole Matrix and the whole world.
Your mind.
The whole secret was that taking the red pill actually means the Freddy pill. That's why you're wearing red, dude.
I know. I put
the
on
red
my
pill
best
is the Freddy
slashed shirt, or like what?
Because Morpheus was
folks.
telling Neo, dude. We are Neo, and the red pill is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and it's basically just we got to team up. And who wins? Who beats Freddy in this?
We'll find out.
No, who? The nerds. The Chad nerds.
Yeah.
It's us, y'all. That we gotta beat the Freddy demiurge that's holding us inside the Freddy Matrix.
Did I mention that it was like Hereditary, where she's building
with the models?
Yeah, model houses.
Well, I think Hereditary is probably harkening back to a common theme in a lot of horror movies. Yeah.
So they play a weird type of Dungeons and Dragons game, like a nerdy.
Well, at this time, this was part of the Satanic Panic at this time that Dungeons and Dragons was killing people, because there was a story that there was teens that took LSD, and one of them, I'm not joking, this is an actual, I don't know if it's true, I don't even know, but the story is teens took LSD and played Dungeons and Dragons, and one of them thought they were a dragon and that they could fly, so they went off the roof and they died. It sounds like a fake story, but it's definitely possible. But what's funny is that the Satanic Panic itself was a psyop. There was a real satanic explosion, and then there was the fake, comical, sensationalized version of it that they used to deflect everybody from the real thing. I think Michael Aquino was probably like behind the Satanic Panic psyop to cover up the real satanic explosion.
Somebody said Elm Street simulation.
Yes.
We all live on Elm Street.
Dude, every city has an Elm Street.
That's
coincidence?
So true. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, they all take a drug called Hypnosil.
In this?
Yeah.
Oh, well, hypnosis is all out of MKUltra.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pioneered as a huge element of MKUltra.
Freddy
and wartime studies.
Takes the form of a little puppet, remember, and kills that guy as a little puppet. He takes the form of a giant snake, and he swallows a girl and a puppet. Yes.
They always have to get more creative with the way that Freddy kills you. Like
the way that he manifests is
turn
funny.
Into a giant worm and eat you. Remember,
that's what nightmares are like.
When I was a kid, if you remember Poltergeist, remember Poltergeist 2? Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, that creepy preacher.
Yeah.
He's like a Mennonite Amish preacher.
Yeah.
Who's a demon.
He's scary.
And he turns into a big worm and tries to eat somebody.
Yeah.
If you go watch it now, it's hilarious. But when I was a kid, that scared the crap out of me.
Yep.
So keep those Amish preachers away from me.
Well, I learned something weird about the Amish. And
the thing about the Amish, though.
What?
Sorry to cut you off, but it's actually the women that eat like giant worms. They eat anything.
What?
They're all fat.
They don't eat giant worms.
No, they eat like giant worms.
Oh.
They're the ones that eat
okay.
like the giant worms. They're all like 500 pounds.
Yeah.
People didn't believe me in the Discord. They were like,
they have to do a lot of labors. I don't know why.
no, that's not why. It's because they have a terrible diet. It's all like bread and butter. That's all they eat. And sugar. Literally, they eat cake and bread. That's like the staple of the Amish female diet and male diet.
Well, the way that Freddy manifests and the way he kills you is like personal to like your fears and your what you've done wrong or whatever. It always has a personal touch to it. Because he turned into needles, and remember one of the mental girls was a addict.
Yes.
And her little arms were sucking the heroin.
Yes, they look like
little mouths.
other body parts.
Yeah.
Not mouths, but yeah.
And Freddy's like put his needles into her.
I forgot that part.
Yeah. And then
so that she has an addiction. So basically, Freddy, like the Cenobite, Freddy could just be a Cenobite.
Yeah.
I mean, he does what they do.
Who would win, Freddy or Pinhead?
Ty.
I don't know.
Because you can't get either one of them.
Because Pinhead has a whole squad.
Well, are we in Pinhead's dream, or is Freddy in
Good
the
question.
hell world?
That's how Hellraiser Sim or Elm Street Sim. I don't know.
Who won in Freddy vs. Jason? Remember that terrible movie?
Oh,
I don't remember who won.
This one also had a twist that was funny. There's a nun who is giving advice on how to defeat Freddy, and it turns out it was his mother. Like that was
Freddy
Raped.
Freddy is the product of 100 psychos.
Yes.
Who?
That is so crazy.
Who violated Freddy's mom, who became a nun.
Right.
That was wacky, dude.
The crazy patients, R.A.P.E.D. Freddy's mom. He's the bastard son of 100 maniacs. You have to find...
Who's your daddy? 100 maniacs?
They have
Who's
to find his body and bury him in hollowed ground to get rid of the curse.
I mean,
of
this is a situation where Freddy could literally say, "My daddy can beat up your daddy." Like
his
easily.
daddy was
my
100
daddy is
maniacs
100 maniacs,
that,
so like he could beat anybody.
Abused a nun. Okay, so they have to get Freddy's remains from a junkyard.
All this part was stupid. Yeah, that was really dumb.
Then the nerdy kid uses 80s green lightning, not blue lightning. He uses the green lightning. The souls of the children he killed are on his tummy.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Remember that?
Well, he eats them. Like he eats the souls, the energy, and that's what we see the demonic beings actually kind of doing, is that they feed on the energy of the life force of the living.
Yeah.
And they like the torture and the pain. It seems to feed them.
And like all good monsters, he keeps coming back, even though he's just a skeleton, like a burnt to the crisper. He's still trying to kill.
That's a good point, Keith. 100 Maniacs is nothing compared to 10,000 Maniacs. How's that song? The 90s?
I don't know. That's not Hey Ya.
10,000 Maniacs?
I don't know the song.
That's two rappers. Hey Ya. What are you talking about?
No, not Hey Ya. I'm thinking of something else.
Four Non-Blondes?
Yes.
You're confused.
I know.
Thank you guys for the super chats. We'll get to those in a moment. We're having fun here. We're having fun. Lots of fun.
So Nancy stabbed Freddy with his own claw. And that's how they ended it. Freddy's mom was a ghost nun.
I want to remind you guys, too, that, like, one thing Freddy preys on, especially in part 2, is the soy. I mean, Freddy is like, he's slicing up soy boys left and right. Mm-hmm. And I think Freddy is a vengeance spirit manifesting nowadays, coming after the soy boys. Right? He's slicing them up, dude. And if you don't want to be sliced up by the soy vengeance of Freddy, then you need to do what I'm telling you right now. You need to go to chalk.com, and I guarantee you, the more chalk that you load up on, you're going to be impervious to the soy attacks of Freddy, right? I mean, I'm trying out the Action 2.0, and I do think I'm more energized. I mean, I'm tired from all I did today, and I did a lot But I have energy right now because Action 2.0. And right now it's 40% off. You go to chalk.com and use the promo code that's there. 40% off. It's J40. And it was 60, but here's the thing, like they started running low on some of these. Now I still take every day the Tomcat, which has Long Jack. I think you guys know about Long Jack. Straight from the rainforest, organic, 100%. This is how we fight Big Soy. This is how we fight the soy vengeance of Freddy in today's society. Tomcat's actually been shown to boost T. That's legit, 100%. Go and read the reviews at the website. Go to chalk.com and you'll see they have literally hundreds and hundreds of 4-star reviews on all the products. And I think it boosts T. I mean, we've been to the gym now. We work out every day now. Jamie and I. Don't you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat said, bring back carbohydrate chubby Jay. No, I murdered him like Freddy murders soy boys, right? The old me is in a grave, dude, and he's not coming back. In fact, he's too tired and bloated to even come out of the grave if he wanted to.
He couldn't escape.
He couldn't escape the grave. He is in the domain of Freddy. And so you get the new svelte me, right? And remember, they are a persecuted company in the sense that they were booted from IG for standing up for what's right and what's true and what's right in this situation. So they're a beige company. They're a red pill company. There's not many of those. So we need to stick together, and they may not have the supply that they have right now. So you need to do it now if you've been talking about getting it, right? Because I was just talking to my boy over there, and he said, hey, with supply chain problems, like the stores that they have in stock right now might be gone soon. So get that going now. Yes. Well, I wouldn't say I'm ripped right now, but I've lost probably another 5 pounds, I think, in the last week, both from gym. So we basically alternate our workout styles. So we either do gym, really long walks. We do like super long walks. Basketball. Jamie has this Pilates thing that she makes me do. I remember when she told me, like, oh, I'm like, Pilates. Ooh, Pilates. That's like Skittles yoga, right? Another version, right? It's like gray yoga.
He couldn't do it though.
I couldn't do it. For like 1 or 2 weeks, she would just blow me away, dude. She could do that. She has this routine memorized where she does all this Pilates. But so when I take chalk or when I take the Action 2.0, I can do it.
He's funny.
I can do it now. Her Pilates routine is intense, dude.
He makes up names for all the moves that, he calls them wobbles or.
Because you're just like doing this. Do 100 of these. Wobble 100 times.
Yeah.
But I could do it now because I've been taking the chalk, and then
he's good at wobble now.
We need to call. I need to message Catherine Ireland because she replied. You remember that? Mm-hmm. You remember she used to have a famous workout? She was always on TV with her workout videos.
And she
in
had
the 90s.
Clothes line at Kmart too, I think.
Yeah, but in the 90s it was workout stuff. So I'm saying like you could do like a team up with Catherine Ireland and do the Jamie wobbles.
Jamie and Kathy wobbles.
Yes.
Because I have some that I just made up too.
Are you my dad?
Just wobble 100 times.
Are you my dad? Anyway, definitely get over there. Chalk right now. Chalk it up to shits and giggles. There you go.
Chalk it up. I don't know.
Okay.
You need a 90s song.
I have a friend who writes jingles.
Oh,
Travis. Shout out to Travis.
Let's get him a chalk.
So we're going to say, Travis, make a jingle up.
Yep.
All right, where are we at on this?
We are
Jason?
1980, Camp Crystal Lake. Friday the 13th.
I was joking about yoga, by the way. We don't do that around here. We do yogurt.
Yeah.
We smear yogurt all over our bodies, and then we do the Pilates, and we call it yogurt.
Yes. Hot yogurt.
To this, you must do the hot yogurt.
We do Bikram yogurts.
I dress up like Osho, and then we do it.
At Camp Crystal Lake, there are some horny teens.
So this is a situation where this is another one of the movies that kind of defines this goofy genre of the slasher, this kind of stuff. I would say the first slasher movie is probably Psycho. I don't know if there's another one. Maybe somebody else could tell me of another one, but I think that this one is like the next kind of defining. I mean, it just creates so many of the archetypes and jokes and, and stupid things. That Cabin in the Woods is basically pulling from Friday the 13th, Freddy, Hellraiser,
all of them. Yeah, it has every.
An Evil Dead, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the cabin itself looks like the cabin from Evil Dead.
Well, I thought this one had a good twist. The movie was kind of, but at least there was a surprise at the end.
Yeah, I mean, she had never seen it, and I had never seen it until a couple of years ago. My buddy was like, "You got to watch this." I was like, I don't care about that. This looks terrible.
Yeah.
I always thought this was really dumb, and it is pretty dumb, but I didn't know about the twist at the end. So,
well, do you know why? We all know why Friday the 13th is unlucky, right?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
No, I mean spoiler alert for the plot.
Oh.
I don't know why Friday the 13th. Why is it unlucky?
It's a Masonic Templar date when they arrested all of the Knights Templar on Friday the 13th.
Oh, well, I know about that. I just didn't realize so that's Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
That's why it's unlucky, because it's...
Okay. Well, I don't think this movie has anything to do with Templars, but...
Yeah. So then there was the whole Jacques de Molay stuff and the trial, and he's the martyr for them. Mm-hmm. Okay, so... Gotcha.
Now that I know about.
You got the crazy old coot warning.
Yeah, that's always there.
Last gas station. So if you're ever on a
the old man that rides the bicycle
and you stop for gas and a crazy old coot is running the store and he tells you not to proceed, you probably should turn around, right? I would turn around.
I like when he rides his bicycle to the camp and then he just goes into the pantry. Like there's just a random ass old man in your pantry.
Oh yeah.
It's like the Crackers in the Pantry fallacy, but it's literally an old man. Maybe he's named Crackers.
Crackers in the Pantry fallacy.
Literally.
So this is a story about camp counselors getting the camp ready for the children to come.
And there's not really much to this except that there's just you think it's a slow boy in the woods.
Yeah.
It's not a slow boy. Well, it's both. It kind of is.
And the townies call it Camp Blood. And they're like, oh, I just go there anyway. I like how you have Jason vision. Sometimes the camera changes and you're the point of the view of the killer a lot in this movie.
And you think it's Jason.
Right. It doesn't show him. It shows
twist.
his point of view.
Yes.
But I also saw Kevin Bacon's wiener, which I did not appreciate.
You saw Kevin's bacon?
Yes. I did. I saw his Kevin Bacon's sausage. And that was a shock. But he also killed a harmless snake. That wasn't very nice of him. Every character is insufferable in this movie.
Yes.
They're all so annoying, and halfway through you're on Team Jason. You're like, yes, killer point of view. Let's get rid of these people. Right? Do you think that was on purpose?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Probably.
I mean, have you ever been so lame that you played strip Monopoly? That's pretty dumb.
I think one time in high school we played strip poker.
Okay. Well,
one time.
These people were all they could think about. I guess there's this place is a vortex of lusty feelings.
Well,
because
again, it's just one of the key. This is another one where if you even dabble in any of the vices, you're gone.
Yeah.
So, kissing, below the neck, like you're out. I think somebody smokes a doobie. You're out. There's drinking. You're out. Mm-hmm. And literally everybody's gone except for the last girl. Who is she? She's the one that gets the ride at the beginning, right?
The cop thinks that the full moon is making everybody crazy, but it's actually spoiler alert, Jason's mom, who is killing everyone because Jason died while camp counselors were busy knocking boots, and they let the son die, so the mom has come back from revenge to kill all of the passionate camp counselors.
Right, so basically Jason's mama and Jason, and he's a mama's boy, because he's a very small Quasimodo-ish little boy, which we discover at the end of the movie, which is the big shocker scene that I'm sure everybody knows about. Spoiler alert. And
I didn't know this. I thought it was just
nobody knows. That's why this
generic...
that's why this one's fun to watch.
Okay.
Is that you can't spoil it. So I just spoiled it for all you guys. Sorry, but I'm assuming you guys saw it, and everybody knows we do spoilers here. So, but yeah, it's like a vengeance. So like he's super mama's boy to the point that like you can't. He's not having any butt touching. You can't touch butts. If you do, you're dead. He's basically a vengeance spirit for any violations of lust. Right?
Yes.
You touch a butt, you're out, dude.
Because that's what led
no
to
3
his
strikes,
death.
1 strike, you're out.
What? Friday the 13th is also Jason's birthday.
Oh, okay. Just a dang unlucky boy. This kid had it. The world was against him from the outset. And he's a slow boy, and he looks like Quasimodo. So.
If you ever...
He looks like Gollum, actually. He's not Quasimodo. He's like Gollum level, dude.
Well, you see him for 2 seconds at the very
and he
end.
looks like Gollum.
Yeah. But if you ever... What was I going to say? Best your attacker and get him on the floor. You better make sure the job is done because they're coming back at least twice.
This is one of the classic idiotic mistakes that everybody in a horror movie makes, which is just knock him out and run away.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude, like, behead that dude. Like, what are you doing?
Because she came back. She's possessed. She's MPD, DID. Kind of like Psycho. It has the Alfred Hitchcock vibe.
I forgot that part. Yeah, so they took basically the Norman Bates character and made it the mom.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting twist. But beyond that, there's nothing really in this movie at all.
And I thought it was interesting. There's not even the hockey mask in this part 1.
No.
It doesn't come till the next one.
I think so, yeah.
So, I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, that's about the only good one in that series.
With the plot twist.
The rest of them are garbage.
Yeah.
I've seen it. So I had a friend that, rest in peace, just passed away, and he always liked these terrible B horror movies, and I think the sequels are B movies for sure. And he would make me watch these with him, and they're garbage totally. So I don't remember anything good in the other ones. But the reason they make these is because for whatever reason these became like super money makers, and they were super cheap. So they would spend like $200,000 making these in the 80s. Yeah. And they would pull in like, $50 million in 1985 money. So
well,
that's why they kept churning these out.
They're pretty graphic though, with like the nudity and all that. So.
Was this one?
Yeah.
Well, I guess if we've seen Kevin's bacon, it was.
Yeah.
Which I didn't ask for, by the way.
Yeah.
Can I write a strongly worded email both to Kevin Bacon and tag the director of the first Friday the 13th?
Hashtag I saw Kevin.
I don't care about Kevin's bacon. How can we remedy this?
All right, that brings us to the last feature.
I hope you guys are enjoying this year's Spooktober. If you didn't see last year's Spooktobers and the year before that, go watch them. We did, of course, classics. We did the John Carpenters. We did Halloween. We did Hereditary.
We did Halloween 3. Which is the best one. In my opinion, it has nothing to do with Mike Myers. But we did attempt, this was a failed attempt.
I turned it off. I couldn't watch it. It was too gross.
Yeah, to watch Halloween 2007, which is the origin story of Mike Myers and his trauma. He is a abused... Yeah, so
this is the Rob Zombie.
This is the Lionsgate. I think we got like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
into
I was like,
it
turn that
where we
off.
learned
It's too violent. I turned it off.
He is. There's a quote about the abyss. He's bullied. His mom is a stripper. I think his dad's an alcoholic.
A troubled child.
Yes.
So this is what produces serial killers. I mean, the troubled households.
Yeah, so this is the
abuse.
story of the origin of Mike Myers that we couldn't watch. But now let's...
All right, so we come to the internet phenomena. It's taken YouTube and the internet by storm. Netflix's Squid Game. Which was your favorite game? Which would you have won? Would you have won red light, green light, or would you?
Yeah, I could win that.
You could have won steak stab at the end, where you eat the steak and stab people. Oh, that wasn't actually a game though.
No, it was red light, green light.
The Squid Game was the last
honeycomb one. I could probably do that.
What was the honeycomb?
Where they had to scratch out the cookie.
That was dumb.
Yeah. The glass. It's all in here.
Okay. Now, I thought Paul Joseph Watson had a really good review of this. I heard his analysis today. I agree with it. And for the normie audience, this is a critique of late stage capitalism, right? Which there is an element of that, right? Because one of the central characters is the girl who is the defector from North Korea. And they intentionally put the communist defector in, and she befriends the girl who's sort of the degenerate atheist product of the capitalist South Korea. They become buddies towards, the end of the games. And the contrast of those two characters is interesting because I'm getting ahead of myself, but the point is that the girl from the communist society, she at least values society. She values others because her whole point of doing this was to get the money to help bring her mom and little brother over. Right. I think she had got the brother over. Now she needed to bring the mom from North to South Korea. But the irony is, of course, that she escaped a situation that was far worse. Right. So there is this quasi, how do we put this? It's corporate communism, right? It's a quasi critique of capitalism, yes. But the irony, as Watson pointed out, is Netflix going to donate all their profits critiquing capitalism? I don't think so, right? Yeah. So all of these critiques of late stage capital, they've all come off so hollow from the Fortune 100, right? I mean, come on. The Fortune 100 and 500 are late stage capitalism. And there's a degree to which at that higher level, the illuminate confirm level, it's intentionally being destroyed and imploded. They're doing that on purpose. And that's that deeper level, which is literally referenced in the movie or the series with the eyes wide shut people who come to the island. That part was pretty wild. And they're even interested in crazy sex stuff. It doesn't show it, thankfully, but it references it in the storyline because that one zillionaire dude takes the kid into the back room who's actually a cop undercover. He's not a kid, but he's a cop undercover.
Right. So this starts with the main guy. He's like a loser. He's a scallywag. He's divorced. He's living off of his mom. He's a gambler, and he's got nothing going for him, and he owes everybody, and he's signed away his bodily rights. Remember that? So in the very first episode, he has to sign a document saying you can take my organs if I don't pay you. Right.
So, and I think everybody knows the organ trade is a big deal in, Asia, East Asia, Eurasia. This is a problem where your organs are worth more than you are, or your life.
Or you're worth more broken down than you are as a whole.
Right. Well, this is total commodification.
Yeah.
Right. And so the critique here is capitalist societies turn everything into a commodity, and you just become a collection of priced artifacts. Your liver, your kidney, your heart, etc. Exactly.
So he is approached by a mysterious man who offers him an opportunity after he has seen how much pain he can take with the slapping game, right?
Yeah, that was a preparation. So they're basically running these tests on him where he's proposed this opportunity to come to the island and bet his whole life, if he wants to, on these various games. But he's not told exactly what it is, right? And so he agrees to it eventually because he needs the money, and he realizes that I'm never going to get my daughter back. She's going to move away with the new, hubby that my ex-wife has married. I'm never going to get the money for my mom's surgery, blah, 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 blah. So it's all about a debt-based society, right? And these critiques are interesting. I mean, it is true that the idea is that, well, so we're slaves because of everything being gamification in basically a gigantic debt-based system. That is how the world is structured. And that's true. Now, that doesn't mean that the Netflix and the quasi-socialist message are true or good either, but there are some interesting critiques and points that I think are valid. But remember that at the end of this whole series, the point is, as I think Watson pointed out, it's more than just critiquing capitalism. This is an insight, like Eyes Wide Shut, into the attitude of the initiated. Because if you remember at the end, spoiler alert, the main character goes and meets the super billionaire guy behind this game. And it's the old man in the game, right? He's the guy playing the game with them. And again, we'll get to what the whole explanation of the show is. But that's, again, here's a middle to lower class guy interacting with a zillionaire, just like Bill Harford in Eyes Wide Shut stumbles into this game of interacting with these super high level billionaire occultists, right? It's the same, exactly the same idea. The difference is that this is like K-pop Eyes Wide Shut meets Hunger Games.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, their playgrounds and the scenes where they have to play the games are very childlike because the games are all designed about something from their childhood.
It's referencing their childhood. So there's a lot of child psychology, Piaget, M. Kelter type stuff being referenced in this because it part of the game is that they know everything about the individual players. And so they pick the games on the basis of the player's childhood. So part of the way that you'll survive in the games is if you can remember what the game might be and how to win it.
And because the old man just wanted to feel the way he did when he was a child. Did you catch that?
Hacked what? Somebody said something's hacked. Okay, it's probably trolling, but hacked what?
Jay, someone hacked your account.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this reminded me of Running Man, like the climbing for dollars. Remember that?
Exactly. I was telling you that.
Yeah.
So this is just
because
climbing for dollars.
They get there and they're in their bunks and this giant piggy bank descends, right? And so that's like a capitalism critique, capitalist pig or whatever, right? And then they're processing, they have to go through this like MC Escher type stairway room that also looks like Barbie's dream house. So it's very discombobulating.
Well, if you watch those K-pop videos, a bunch of those look like literally acid trip mind control. Like they look insane. Remember that one that was super popular? Nom nom nom.
Oh yeah.
Everybody, I'm sure it's had like 1 billion views. I mean, it's like, I don't know the name of it. It's something like nom nom nom. I don't even know what the hell that means.
I like baby shark doo 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 doo.
That's not what we're talking about.
I know.
Anyway, but if you watch that video, it literally looks like a bunch of like mind control, just madness. It looks like it's a K-pop acid trip, and a lot of what you see in K-pop is very childlike. It's very, that's gonna fall. Scoot that over. Just scoot this over. It's very childlike. It's very ridiculous and cartoony. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's supposedly adult. It's just its own weird ethos. It's kind of like the, Japanese anime stuff, but it's its own weird thing over here. And that's all in the show. Like they really transport the weirdness factor into, and like Japanese game shows, right? The craziness of Japanese game shows. Remember how popular that was like 10 years ago? And there's all these clips going around. It's like they translate it well into this plot, and eventually we realize, okay, so this is a critique of capitalism. This is a critique of everything being commodified. And we're starting to realize that that's why there's references to the organ trade. And we're thinking, okay, is this just a way to get people's organs? It's a big, elaborate operation.
Yeah, I want to say something about that.
Yeah.
The square and circle face people, the enforcers. So you have your different stratas of society. You have your elites that are playing everybody like a game, betting on them, pawns. And then you have your enforcers who work for the elites, your military, your policemen, your politicians, things like that. And then you have the people who are just have to compete and kill each other almost to get ahead. Right?
Yep.
So the enforcers are just faceless drones.
Well, and they look like intentionally like the Sony PlayStation symbols.
Yeah.
On the controller.
Weren't video games, they use those to train people with the military.
Yeah, video games come out of DARPA and the Pentagon training soldiers to kill without compunction. All the first-person shooters come out of that. But I think that the point here is that one of the things a lot of the tech elite have talked about that we've discussed in this channel for a long time is gamification. And this is the idea that everything will eventually be gamified and there will be points, pros and cons attached to the points. That's why the social credit score is the perfect end result of or part of this plan of gamification of everything. That's not something I make. Go look up the TED Talks by all the Silicon Valley tech elite people. They're like, just imagine a world where when you brush your teeth, if you do a good job and brush your teeth like you're supposed to, you'll get points that day. And those points will go on your weekly score that week. They were literally talking about the social credit score years ago. They just weren't calling it the social credit score. They were saying it'll be like playing a game. Ooh, everything in society is a game. Ooh, it's gonna be so fun. If you brush your teeth, you get points because you're a good person. Literally, that's how it was. Look it up. Look up TED Talk gamification.
Yeah. Because all of the appliances and everything will be smart appliances. Your refrigerator, your toilet, your toothbrush.
It's not nom nom nom. It's pon pon pon.
Oh, pon
That's
pon.
It. Pon pon pon.
Play pon pon.
No, it's copyrighted. I'll get.
Oh.
But if you're looking for this like ridiculous thing that I'm talking about, which is like acid trip K-pop, this is it. It's that pon pon pon. I'm sure everybody's heard it. It's got like 200 million views, but
that's funny.
And if you remember, isn't one of the biggest songs or the biggest song of all time still that the K-pop song of what's it where you do that stupid dance?
Oh, Gangnam Style?
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
a K-pop. It is.
That may be.
It used to be like it had like 2 or 3
it was
billion.
The most.
It was like 3
thing.
billion plays on YouTube.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oppa Gangnam Style. Yeah, I like that one.
It's just bizarre, like the whole ethos of. Daniel Spalding had a really good because he married a girl from South Korea and he lived there for several years. I think he's back in the U.S., but he knew all about North and South Korea, the whole culture, and he had a really good breakdown one time. I don't remember where it was. It was an essay or a podcast. He had a good breakdown of like why K-pop, compared to J-pop and Japanese versus Korean culture, and it's something to do with the. I'm trying to remember how it goes. Either Japan or Korea, South Korea, obviously. One of them is the elites run the other country. Like the richest family in Japan are like South Koreans. And they're called something like the Kims, something very obvious. Or it's the other way around. But it was just very bizarre, right? Like stuff I'd never knew or heard of. Isn't that interesting?
What is J-pop instead of K-pop?
That's my boomer song. Go watch the Boomsday Clock song. That's the best example of J-pop.
Pop, pop, pop.
No, not Pennywise.
No, Pennywise pop.
Okay, so let's get back to this. Where we at?
Okay. Why the coffins look like giant gift boxes, and sometimes they burn the people alive, and sometimes they harvest their organs?
Well, because what is a present but a commodity, and the people are the commodities. Everything's commodified.
Okay. I was thinking maybe it was like a sacrifice to, but there wasn't nothing esoteric really in this, except for the elites. Oh, well, they were wearing the mask kind of like the Rothschild.
Yeah, they wear Rothschild, like
So,
satanic
are these
party garb, and they come to the island for sex parties. Remember?
Yeah, are these dead bodies a gift for Lucifer or something like that? Because he found a little gift box in his office, in the Black Mask Man office. And I forgot what was inside that.
I think it was something about his brother. I can't remember either.
Okay.
But I mean, I think they're setting up for season 2 as well. So we don't know who, like the guy who was in the mask. We don't know his backstory or what the deal is, why he's doing this.
The players
he's the brother, isn't he? The brother of the cop.
The game master is the cop's brother. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah.
And he never answered him. He just killed him.
Explain that. Yeah. The players are all broken in debt. They can terminate the game if the majority agrees. So that was an interesting.
Well, they wanted to set it up as fair. That was an odd thing because nothing in the game is actually fair. But they're like, we're going to make this fair, and you can basically forfeit your life to win $1 zillion, or you are out of here. You're dead, right? So, the point being, I think that the way the world system is structured is that it is based on debt. And this whole show is showing you the way the world is structured is a debt-based model. And that everything thus becomes commodified. But ultimately, it's not a question of capitalism, communism, socialism. Even though I think ultimately this, again, for the normies, this has like, oh, cool, dude, it's like a socialist critique of capitalism, bro. No, actually, it's a middle finger from the elite. That's what this is. This is basically saying, you mean nothing. And just as easily as the people in this can be Depop, you will all be Depop. That's what this show is about. The show is about all society because you notice as the games progress, they get more and more self-interested, more and more guarded. They set up, remember when they make teams? Mm-hmm. And then when they go back to their bunks, they turn their bunks into little mini countries. Mm-hmm. So this is the nation state. Mm-hmm. This is tribalism in the nation state.
This is how the elite get people to war and fight and die.
Yes. It's literally Game of Nations. Yeah. Miles Copeland. It's the grand chessboard. What is Zbigniew Brzezinski's grand chessboard? Yeah. But a game.
Yeah.
You're pawns in the game. And when they get to the bridge game, they're literally actually pawns. Remember?
Yeah.
Because when they fall off the bridge, he knocks the pawn off of the elite's little toy bridge they have.
The game master, the masked man in Black Dr. Doom or whatever, he was a former winner.
Yeah. So the guy that wins gets to be like the game master.
What do you even win if you're still stuck in this evil hierarchy where now you have to decide who lives and dies?
You're just stuck on this island running it. Yeah. So that's the crap part. But, right. Or be like, if you could win like a $45 billion, but you can't leave this stupid island with nothing on it, right?
So the social dynamics and the control experiment aspect of it, and then there's the prize money is enough to keep them playing when they think they have this democratic process.
Well, that part was interesting because, from the vantage point of the people, oh, you're free to do whatever you want, but it's really only a freedom that can't be exercised because it's a freedom under the control of a total controlled system, which they're surveilled. It's total surveillance. They can't do anything. They try to start their own little prison economies, but that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And really, they all end up dead. It's just a model for how the Illuminate Confirm controls the world. That's it. It's like it's showing you how they control everyone because we're just the players in the game, individuals and the nations.
But they're not even kind to the Sims. Like, they bet on their death. So it's even more sinister than just controlling resources and having the most. Then you actually have to turn it into more evil and to delight in their dying. Right? It's a game.
Well, that's what the old guy says at the end when the main character makes it through the games and he goes and he asks the old man, he's like, why did you do all this? And he says, well, I was super, super rich. And he says that I made money by lending money. So he's a usurer. He's a loan shark at a mega level. So he's a billionaire, zillionaire. And he says, I had all the pleasures, and so I was bored. Nothing was enjoyable for me. And he said, the last thing I remember being fun was being a kid and playing games.
Mm-hmm.
So the world becomes my toy box.
Right.
And it was all because he was looking back towards the pleasure that he lost. Like William Randolph Hearst in Citizen Kane. Like, he thinks back to that sled. That was the last time he was happy, was riding that stupid sled, Rosebud.
Right.
Because he's miserable.
Do you remember when they paused the game because they voted they didn't want to do it anymore? And then they came back and they had to sign a contract. And they came back because the outside world was just as bad as the world where you're playing death games.
The outside world is death games. That's the
Yeah,
point.
and he tried to get the word out and go to the police and tell them there's this crazy island where they're killing people. And, of course, he didn't believe him. So that's kind of a commentary on somebody who's seen behind the workings of things. They know kind of what's going on, like kind of like our audience.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go back into the other world and try to get the word out, and nobody even believes them, right?
I'm all paranoid now, like something's been hacked. So I'm like looking through to make sure that there's not like giant butts and PPs being posted all over my profile. People are like, we told you all along, he's an occultist. Look at the PPs and the butts.
Yeah.
We got him, dude. We got him. It's just that old Korean dude that's playing tricks on me. He wanted to send out butts in my name.
You're being bogged by the Bogdanovs.
It's the old man in the chat trolling us. He's the one that's playing the Squid Game with us.
It's Klaus Schwab doing cyber polygon just on you like a tiny hair.
Oh, don't forget too the symbolism of the square, the circle, the triangle. The square is the world, and it's the Masonic square, and then the triangle, it sits above the square, and at the top is the illuminate, confirm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that? And that's where you're supposed to put to win the game is that that circle at the top of the triangle.
Yeah.
Remember that?
To get into the tiny little elite group.
That's how you. But I'm saying, that's how you win Squid Game.
Yeah.
Winning Squid Game, literally in the last game, which is the Squid Game, is to put your foot. You got to step into the circle, which is at the apex of the pyramid, on top of a box. Mm-hmm. Right. So the four squared box represents the earth, the world, the four cardinal directions. The pyramid is the power structure that runs the world. That's what it is. So
yes, it's very alchemical in its symbolism. I did not like how they treated the Christian character.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Hypocrite as usual.
As usual, if you're a Christian, you're just a hypocrite. And the girl
and a coward.
So he ends up like pushed off the bridge.
And there was another anecdote about a girl.
No, but the girl that befriends the Northern Korean girl,
yes.
the defector.
Yeah.
She's the degenerate daughter of a pastor. And by the way, a lot of those
killed her mom.
A lot of those South Korean pastors actually are like mega church scam artists. That big, it's like the biggest church in the world. Yonggi Cho, I think is his name. The South Korean mega church that ended up being like a big money laundering thing. So that's kind of true, but the point is that all of the references to God and Christianity are basically negative, except at the end. Did you notice the interesting part at the end when the main guy makes it out, and he's helped by the street preacher? Do you remember that?
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And he tells him that Jesus is what you need. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Christian pastor killed the mom and Molested the daughter. So that's the two.
So the religions are just hypocrites. Although it's ambiguous with that guy at the end who's the street preacher. It's hard to tell what his... Is he basically signaling the real redemption of the main character? Because the main character starts out as a Buddhist. There's multiple references to religion in the film. But the religions don't really get anybody anywhere. It's the brutality, it's the survival of the fittest attitude that gets the main guy through the games. And then when he gets out of the game and he's back to the real world, off the island, he is helped by the street preacher who preaches Jesus to him, which is interesting. But I don't know what to make of it exactly.
Do you notice they...
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, every Christian character is basically nuts. I mean, even that street preacher character is basically a wacko.
Right. They make you turn against your best friend and compete against them.
Well, that's the idea of total strict capitalism is social Darwinism. The two go together. So laissez-faire capitalism, Adam Smith, all of that basically coalesces with the emergence and rise of Darwinism and social Darwinism, right? I'm not saying that they're identical. I know that Darwinism is after Adam Smith and John Locke and all that, but the attitude, the idea is very similar, and they go together because if I'm at the apex of the social Darwinian hierarchy, it's in my best interest to not just compete and win against everyone else, but to kill everyone else. In other words, the attitude becomes ultimately one of Malthusianism. Malthusianism makes perfect sense with Adam Smith's philosophy.
Apex predator.
Yeah. There's no logical reason why I need to, agree to the non-aggression principle, be nice to you, be fair in business. If I want to win, I win at all costs, and I destroy my opponents.
So when the elite arrive to watch the games in person, they're all wearing these animal masks, which is
it looks like Eyes Wide Shut. It looks like
a metaphor for their worldview, which is that
we're animals.
What you just said.
Yeah, we're animals, exactly.
Yeah. And their VIP lounge has people as furniture, and it looks like Jungle Cruise restaurant. So
it does look like jungle.
They are literally hanging out in a jungle. They're kings of the jungle, and using humans as
good point.
Furniture and other
commodities.
Yeah, like Clockwork Orange.
Well, and remember too, humans are furniture, and the girl is furniture in Soylent Green.
Oh.
She comes with the apartment. She's called furniture. Charlton Heston says, "You're the furniture."
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
My cold dead ends.
There's one game where there's a checkerboard floor. Oh, no. In the bunk room and their last supper, they're eating over a checkerboard floor. Masonic black and white checkerboard.
Well, it's the checkerboard floor, not just because of the Masonic element, but because of the chessboard, grand chessboard. That's Brzezinski's point, is that the world is a chessboard, and the elite move the nations and the people on the chessboard to do as they desire.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that I don't recommend watching Squid Game because it is really violent. And you kind of get the whole point in what we're telling you, what we're saying. But it's just another one of those middle fingers in everyone's face from the elite, which everyone thinks it's a critique of late stage capitalism. And it's not. I mean, it is, but it's more than that.
So the protagonist has the same vice as the elite, though, with the gambling. Remember, he lost all his money gambling, and now he's competing in this game.
But, know, Oriental cultures, they have fortune is a big thing for them. Luck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fortune cookie, luck. This is like a huge part of their culture. They're always talking about fortune, fate, luck, because it's still kind of a lot of remnants of the older pagan worldview, which relied a lot on fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And fortune and fate are just the older pagan replacements or stand-ins for divine providence. So it doesn't really make sense why there would be in the pagan worldview fortune, because there's no single god guiding history by his providence, by his purpose or telos. But there's at least implicit in the pagan notion of fate, some order and some guiding purpose to all this craziness.
Mm-hmm.
Or else we wouldn't be a destiny, right? But for there to be a destiny, there has to be a destiner, a predestiner. But those worldviews don't believe in a personal God, the Far Eastern worldviews, right? So the main character is just this normie, Buddhist guy. And then at the end, he's basically been enlightened. He's very wealthy. we're not clear what his religion is, but he's mad because he doesn't understand why the rich guy would do this, and so he eventually finds his way back to the billionaire guy who's the old man in the show, in the games, tells him the whole story, and it ends up just being this it's a game, right? Life is a game.
He was trying to take away his faith in good people at the end of his life also by playing this.
Oh, that's right. He wanted to tell him that there aren't
bet with him about how people would let another guy freeze.
Well, that was the point of the games, was to demonstrate that people aren't good and they're not self-sacrificing. They're selfish. When it comes down to it, if you remember, the main guy, that was his best friend. And they were the last two fighting. And so the point is that the game was to show and to demonstrate to the winner, the point of the games is that humans are evil.
At the very end, they're talking about the Bank of International Settlements.
Oh, that's right. That's on the news. The BIS is on the news.
And then there's reporting that the Korean middle class is in debt because of so much lending, which was the job of the player number one, who was an elite guy. So...
yeah, that was cleverly slid in there. If you listen, you had to have the subtitles on to hear that. And if you go listen to my Tragedy and Hope lectures, go listen to the whole lecture that's on the BIS, because Quigley devotes a significant section of the book to the central bank of central banks, which is the Bank for National Settlements, the most secret bank in the world.
Yep.
Which is the Illuminate confirmed bank, and it's referenced in this. So when you see BIS referenced in this screenplay, you know they're telling you what's really going on.
That's all.
Somebody said, "What about his hair?" I just thought it was looks like ridiculous McDonald's looking stuff. Like he looked like a Korean Ronald McDonald. I don't know why he dyed. Did he dye his hair red just to be a cool guy, or? But that's only a phase, right? Because if you notice, doesn't it say like a year later, and he's like got this big hobo beard, and he's like
no, he was a hobo for a year, and then he went and got cleaned up.
Oh, okay.
To do season 2, maybe. We don't know.
Well, but one thing he learned was that he still valued people, right? Because the whole point was that he didn't give in to the logic of the games, and he gave half of the money to the North Korean girl's brother. Remember?
Yeah.
So he ended up still being virtuous, which is interesting. But yeah.
Well, the money, that's the whole point. Like, everything that he'd been fighting for and everything that he saw everybody else die for, as soon as he got the piggy bank, it made him miserable because of the trauma that he had to go through to get it.
Yeah.
So it's not worth it.
Yes. And he had seen the type of people that the zillionaires are.
Yes.
They're the sickos that come to the island.
Yes.
The island.
So the dream is a nightmare now.
What do you mean? The dream is a nightmare now?
Well, everything, when you think you get a lot of money, you dream of that everything will be nice. But his turned into a nightmare because of what he had to do to get it.
Yeah. Well, so that was our take on Squid Game. It was pretty much a totally elitist revelation of the method under the guise of critique of capitalism, right? I mean, there were a few insights and good points, like, you know, the one thing that the old man wanted to teach him was that even you were willing to sell me out when we played marbles.
Yeah.
And he taught him a lesson on purpose, and he feigned like he had dementia, and the main guy thought, oh, I can, you know, get one over on him and I'll win. But that was all just to teach him that, so you're willing to compromise too, right? You know what it reminded me a lot of? The Magus, because one of the purposes of the Conchise character in the Magus is to get Nicholas to realize, to see himself in a mirror and to see what he's really like, to see the truth of who he really is and how he is deceiving himself. Does that make sense? Remember that?
Yeah. So he met himself, and it was awful. And he got the awful prize at the end.
Yeah, but he did the right thing by giving the money away. So interesting. Interesting. Again, Eyes Wide Shut meets Hunger Games meets K-pop. Like I don't know what else to say.
What did we write? Rollerball, Running Man, something. Oh, Hunger Games, Death Race.
Hunger Games, Death Race, LSD, K-pop, all in one. So if that's your thing, this is definitely the show for you. All right, so let's do the super chats. Who's up? That's a cool name.
Real Gucci Mane, not a clone. Shout out J-Man and Jamie Cuff for helping us understand the man's plan. You heard me.
We heard you.
Word up. It's fresh. Limal Stone Cold Fox, $1. 80s music cures depression. You don't need Prozac.
I guess it depends on what the 80s music is, because I'm pretty sure a lot of the hair bands, Wasp, right? If I heard that, I would have depression. So.
What about The Cure? That's kind of depressing.
Actually, The Cure isn't depressing for me because it just brings back good memories.
Oh.
It just reminds me of high school. So.
When emos were peppy. But yeah, 80s music and 80s movies, like when we're in a bad mood or if we had a hard day and we just need something lighthearted, around. We'll put on 80s.
And then you may see.
Yeah, a simpler time.
Anyway.
Okay.
Frankie
D. Jay, you mentioned the demiurge. Have you elaborated that concept in other videos? I've learned a little bit about Kabbalah and who they call Ein Sof. It seems to me that the Orthodox perception of the Father is similar to what they say, emulations.
No. So not at all. Yeah, I've done multiple critiques of Gnosticism, so you can find my video, or it's a talk I did critiquing the Gnostic perspective. Irenaeus and the Gnostics. I did a Genesis versus pagans and Gnostics talk. And no, the Orthodox doctrine of God, the Trinity, is not at all Gnosticism. It's the exact opposite of that. So you said emulation. I think you mean emanations. Yeah, the Gnostic view is that the world is like these various gradations of emanations from the one, and there's this imprisoning force called, the demiurge. But that's not what we believe. Jesus, Christianity, it's what Orthodox Christianity teaches, which is literally the first 3 centuries of the church rejecting the teaching of the Gnostics. So no, we don't teach that at all. But I do have multiple videos on that. Thank you for your super chat. Go ahead.
The Green Feathers, $20. Thanks for another great stream. God bless you both. Thank you.
And shout out to Green Feathers. He's been sharing a lot of my videos. Much appreciated. He's been showing a lot of support through a lot of super chats. Much appreciated. So go check out his channel and check out his work. Shout out to him.
Brian Gumble, $1. Spooky stream, y'all. My favorite part of the 1984 was when they revealed that the evil conspiratorial bad guy projected on the news always, Goldstein, wasn't real, and the Ministry of Truth made him up as a psyop. How do you think this parallels today?
I mean, go watch the hour-long breakdown that I did of 1984. So maybe 2 months ago, I was on Lord Voldemort's show, Hour 4, and I did a whole hour-long breakdown of just that point.
We did 1984 in our dystopias.
Yeah,
too.
You can go to our dystopia series, and most of the time, I'm not bitching at you, but most of the time when people say, do this movie, we've done it. Not always, but most of the time. Ash versus Evil Dead.
$1. Jay, when we setting up a video discussion?
Well, if that's Bruce Campbell, we emailed Bruce Campbell, and Bruce Campbell said he was too busy. But if that is the real Bruce Campbell, which is probably not, anytime. We welcome any celebrity upon this podcast, especially Tom Coon. Tom Coon.
Tom Coon chuckle. Oh.
Tom Coon's chuckle.
$5. What's your take on the real life case that Exorcism of Emily Rose is based on?
I don't know. I mean, I remember when the movie came out, I saw it a couple times at the theater. I remember seeing that there was an article saying it was based on something real, but I don't know anything beyond the claim that it's based on something real.
Maybe next year we'll do possession movies or something.
Yeah, well, we got to do. I mean, the world looks pretty apocalyptic, so we should do like apocalypse movies, especially Antichrist movies. I've been waiting to do these terrible Hollywood's versions of Antichrist movies are just so bad they're great, especially Arnold in End of Days. That one's a classic.
Yeah, we got one called Tribulation to watch.
I guess we could do some of those I meant the Hollywood Antichrist movies. Like Damien, Omen, Constantine, Devil's Advocate. We already did Devil's Advocate, but we can do it again. But anyway, go ahead, Fred.
Fred, $3. What do you think of Isaac's human furniture theory? It was referenced in the Squid Game as well, and was also alluded to in Kubrick's Lolita.
Yeah, and it's in Soylent Green, and it's in Clockwork Orange. I don't know specifically or recall what Isaac's theory is. I think you mean Isaac Weishaupt, our buddy, but I don't remember exactly what his theory is. But it is in a lot of this literature, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I was gonna watch or do maybe a show about Lolita and Shirley Temple and those child stars. So that might be an upcoming show.
Mm-hmm.
Brooke Shields and Mila Jovovich and those. So let's see. Nick's Teas, $25. Thank and God bless Jay and Jamie.
You know what? I just realized. Is it Nikki's Tees this whole time? Like T-shirts? This whole time I thought it was Nikki Stees, but it's actually
Nikki's Tees, like T-shirts.
Sometimes I misread the symbols. I'm like a slow boy Dan Brown over here. Sometimes I'm a fast Dan Brown. Sometimes I misread the symbols.
Frankie D, $5. Maybe in some twisted way, the elites are acknowledging that all one really needs is Christ. Christ is the only path by which one can transcend this evil world. Theosis link in a game. They appear to be cosmic rules that elites follow for forecasting.
I don't think that's what they're doing. I mean, I do think they show us ahead of time for many reasons, but they're not intentionally showing Christ at all. I mean, they hate that, so they're not going to do that. They are acknowledging that all one really needs is Christ. Well, maybe deep down they know.
Yeah,
but they're not making the movies to say that.
No. It is interesting. Oh, Frank Rizzle? I need glasses. $5. It is interesting how, as our world becomes more antichrist, people become less trusting and more selfish, which appears to lead only to more selfishness. Everyone is looking for more than fair, and you end up with a crazy inflated marketplace.
Yes. So funny too, for what decades you've been told consume. Now it's stop consuming.
You evil, bad consumer.
Evil. Get in your coon pod and eat the bugs and die.
Yeah.
Stop consuming.
Right.
You're bad. But by the way, we just told you for the last 50 years to consume nonstop.
Yeah.
And now you're bad for doing it.
Wait, go back. I want to. There was something. Oh, so the selfish, the narcissist, all of this like wave of people coming out talking about narcissistic people. I hope that continues, because you could apply that to the way the government treats people and the oligarchy.
Well, sure. I mean,
we're in abusive relationships.
People that have been making the narcissist videos and the psychopath videos for the last 5 years on YouTube.
Yeah.
I pointed out that that's the attitude of the elite. That's what they are.
Yep.
Absolutely. And also understanding criminology and the mindset of the serial killers. It's the same thing. It's just that the elite are serial killers that are smarter than the low-level dumb serial killers that get caught. They're serial killers in suits.
Mm-hmm. Eccentric $1. You are a smart man and you read a lot, so you probably understand the dualistic world we live in and the occult usage of the colors red and blue. Why would you use a combination of red-blue for your lighting? Seems very sus. Oh,
it is. It's because we sold our soul to the devil to get red and blue lights. So you're out. You've outed us. Just skip him.
Pack comes with two colors, question. Red and blue.
No.
What?
Just skip it.
Okay. Maybe it's a joke.
No, he's being dumb.
Vibranium, $10. I watched both your analysis of Lost Boys and your serial killer series discovered something about the leader of the vampire. You connected serial killers, filmed their acts, and to SNUF rings. Schumacher directed Lost Boys in 8mm. Leader runs a VHS store.
Yeah, I mean, the whole channel has had a retro wave, synthwave theme for years. So that's why I use red and blue, because it's retro neon colors. So it's just ridiculous. And by the way, God is the creator of everything that exists, including the colors and the numbers. So red and blue and the number 6 are not inherently evil. Everything is inherently good. All right, thank you guys.
Wait, that wasn't the last.
Yes, it was.
No, it was about Lost Boys.
That's the last question right there.
But you didn't say anything about that.
I don't know what to say.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's in my essay on Lost Boys.
Oh, okay.
It's in my book.
All right. Was that spooky enough?
I am the sexy sex man. I'm an oily man. You were saying how oily men like Michael Landon used to do
Yes.
yard work in Little House on the Prairie, and I was saying that I was going to become oily like Fabio and just lay around and look cool.
I have abandoned my fantasy of a Civil War man with
Now you're
a half beard.
That was my joke.
Now
That was my joke.
I want a pioneer man.
No, her fantasy is the sexy sax man Tim Capello from Lost Boys.
No.
I still believe through the pain,
I
through
want
the tears.
an oily man who can chop firewood and put a saddle on a horse.
Oh, by the way, every year we sing it, and we haven't sung it this year. I have to apologize here.
Do, 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 do.
I'll sing it for the next episode. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Been in a cave for 40 days, only a spark to light my way. I want to give out, I want to give in. This is our crime, this is our sin, but I still believe. I still believe through the pain, through the grief, through the lies. I thought it said less. Through the lies, through the storms, through the cries, and through the wars. How many wars has Tim Capello actually been in? What's he talking about? Through the wars? I still believe. Okay. What? Are you? You don't understand that every year I sing that.
That was beautiful. It was awesome.
I'll sing it better next time for you guys, okay? We got another Shining Diamond.
It's not the same. What, $2? Shining Diamond, $2. Will you both do a stream on The Last Duel and Halloween Kills?
I don't really like Halloween. I mean, I haven't finished. I watched like the first half of Halloween Kills and I fell asleep. So I don't know how it ends or what's going on. Maybe. I don't know what The Last Duel is about, other than it sounds like a duel and it has Matt Dadbot in it and Ben Affleck. Are they gonna talk in that Boston retard accent? Are they gonna say you gotta do some math problems like Matt Dadbot?
Wicked retarded.
Wicked retarded math. Oh, look at these wicked retarded times table. Isn't he doing math problems, or is that the other movie?
Yeah, that's.
I get it mixed up. Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting is a math problem.
Yeah.
You have one more. It's Nick E. Stees.
That's
like
what I thought.
Doug E. Fresh.
That's what I thought. Okay, so I was right. Not Nick's Tees, right? Like t-shirts. All right. Shout out again. Be sure and get over to chalk.com. They're super duper Jason Alice's supporters. We have that promo code going on right now. It's a great deal. You get 40% off anything in the store. You can also set up the recurring stuff. You can do whatever you want over there. Just use that promo code because that's how they attach it to me, the sales to me. And you guys are with me. We want to hook each other up. I'm hooking you up with 40% off. I'm hooking you up with Mojo. I'm hooking you up with anti-soy materials to de-soy you. And you're hooking me up with the promo code, basically, is how it works. And you get 40% off. It's a win-win. It's a 360 win. It's a win-win-win, right? So everybody go over there. You can subscribe at Jay's Analysis. And part 2 of the Breakaway Civilization show, I'll probably do that tomorrow. Our next show is what? What are we going to talk about next? B movies? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the next Spooktober is Spooktober B movies. And that's going to be fun. We got, I don't know if we'll do the Stephen King ones next or like just the other B movies that are going to be fun. Everybody loves the B movie shows. The first time I met you was one of the first shows we did B movies with a message.
Yeah.
Remember that? We did Ghoulies, Society, Believers. Mm-hmm. So we might dig up a one or two of those classics, right? What else?
The Stuff.
Yeah, we did the Stuff. We've done the Stuff twice. We won't do the Stuff, but what do we got? Waxworks. We got Critters. We got what are the B movies we got? First
18th Angel.
Oh yeah. Rachel Lee Cook, and it's her like one of her first movies. It's a terrible B movie, but it's actually a good bad movie.
It's like a kind of Antichrist.
Yeah, it's
Rosemary's
a cult,
Baby.
like a satanic cult in Italy, in a monastery. And Rachel Lee Cook. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, it'll be good.
And what else?
Stay
But what else
tuned.
is on there?
There was one, I can't remember the title of it, but it had Drew Barrymore and Chris Christopherson. It's called...
Oh, not Doppelganger. Doppelganger's great.
Yeah.
That's a great B movie.
It was even more obscure than Doppelganger. But we got that one. That'll be good.
That one was pretty bad, though.
It was a bad one, but it was, like, goofy fun.
All right. We got to find some other ones. But, all right, everybody have a good night. Like and share and subscribe.